Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
Karacterz, with a Z, is a two-player card dueling fighting game system. But what makes this one interesting and one that you might want to seek out is the fact that you actually build your character in this game as opposed to playing with a pre-assembled one. So the first half of the game, you and your competitor will be going through the deck and kind of playing the game, playing by this rule set where you will be making your character. Now, it isn't a situation where there's a card in the deck that's better than another one. You kind of want to see what the other person is playing and kind of putting it together. It's almost like this chess match going back and forth as you do this character development. This is the most exciting part of the game to me. I think this is unique. I think this is fun. And I think this is the part of the game that is going to attract people. This is the unique. This is the part of the game that you're not going to see in a lot of games. Now, is it fun to create a character? Sure. That was one of my favorite parts about Dungeons and Dragons and those type of games, was creating the characters. I like that part of it. I always like when I play an RPG on a video game system with that part where you get to kind of manipulate your character. Now, as you're playing it, you're not really upgrading it like getting more experience points, but you're choosing how that character is going to play and what cards you're going to be able to have, and you'll be putting cards into your attack. You can also kind of manipulate a little bit. Now, it's not a full-on like RPG. We're going to be setting up, 10, 15 different things on our character, but there is this kind of chess cat and mouse thing going on with your opponent when you're creating this character. I don't think that you can play this game and hope you get this one ultimate card that's great, but it's more about the well-rounded, fleshed-out character you're going to have. And then when you actually go to the battle, you feel invested in this character, even though it's just a card game. You feel like you are this person, as opposed to like the Yamis where they give you this pre-existing assembled character and you kind of play it through. And although in that game they play very uniquely, in this one, it almost makes it feel like there's an infinite amount of replayability because you can tweak your character each time you play, and you kind of never know what character you're going to end up with. Absolutely love that part of this game. You also have the combat. So after the character creation kind of half of the game, you go into the last half of the game, which is this one-on-one fighting kind of magic, one-on-one Yami, Battle of Endines type fighting game that you will do back and forth to create damage against the opponent and then hopefully slaughter them while you're able to win the game. I feel like there's really two unique aspects of this game where you're playing it, and the first part where you're building and the second part you kind of see what happens. Now, Galaxy Trucker to me is a board game that does this, right? You kind of build up and then you see what happens. Well, in this one, instead of just sitting around and seeing what happens, you actually get to play it out and make decisions. And I like that, where you have the setup and then you bring it all together with the actual fight. So I feel like this improves upon a lot of those situations where you kind of build something and watch what happens. You get a decision in that. And I think it's all done in a really small card game. Now, the box that you're going to get is really tiny. And my set came with 2 of these. And I think it's really neat how they come together and just something so small. And then there is a lot of cards in here, don't get me wrong, but something so small can give you that feeling that you've been looking for in these kind of games. So I'm going to go ahead and recommend Karacterz for you. If you like these two-player fighting games, I think this one's going to be a little bit unique for you. And if you had Yami, if you have a lot of these kind of two-player puzzle strike, you have some of these games, why would you want this one? It's the character creation. The character creation is what's going to make this one stand out. And I think it's one that you're going to really enjoy. So if you like those type of games, go ahead and support this one. Check this one out. At least give it a play. But I think for the price point that you're going to get with this game, that you'll just want to go ahead and jump on in. And I think that you'll be happy with it. I think that you'll be in a situation where you're like, well, this one gives me something a little bit different. I'm glad that I played this one. So check out Karacterz. I think this is one that will not disappoint you. And it gives you something new that a lot of these other games do not give you. So definite keeper for me.
Here are the components for Karacterz. They come in two of these little boxes. There's tuck boxes. And they let you know it's the ultimate character building fighting card game, which is good enough. It doesn't come with a rule set. You do have to go to this website, or at least presently it doesn't come with a rule set. Maybe it will in a finalized version. But you go here, there's a rule set you can print out, and there's also a demo video that you can watch that's pretty good. So I have box 1 and box 2 here. What you're going to get is a number of cards. You're going to get, it spells maps, M-A-P-S. Here's the S cards. I kind of want to show you what these look like. You're going to get a number of these. And these are going to be your sorcery ones. So, healing potions. Some of these are physical stats. In the flow of the game, you'll kind of see how these work. Stamina mastery. Really like the artwork. Well, when they have artwork, I really, really like it. The artwork is very good. Resistance potion. Here's some anime. Independently studied. So you're going to get a number of these stacks. And you're going to get A's and P's. Everybody's going to get these. Half block, full block. And you'll be playing these. So everybody will get one set of these. You're going to have core cards, which are going to be your characters. And you get a few characters in with the box 1 and box 2. Let's look at a few of these that are different. Some of these are male, some are female. So it's not always the half-naked female. So I know that's been a hot topic recently in board gamers. So these guys have just as much clothes on as the boys, it feels like. Then you have your magic cards, and you're going to have class cards that will be in it. And I got these 2 cards, which are just contact cards for the company, which I thought was kind of cool. Otherwise, you're just going to get a stack of cards. It's going to be a card fighting game that can be played with up to 4 people. So the cards are actually fairly good quality. I like that they're rounded here. I like the back. You can easily delineate what deck this is by looking at the back of it. So you can easily stack those. So a lot of things have been thought through on this. The components are really good.
Now, at least in my copy with the rules didn't come in the box. And I sort of don't understand why more companies don't do this. Now, I know that like if you don't, you're going to have an outrage a lot of times. But with iPads and iPhones, I mean, the rules are accessible. Now, I am one of those people that like to take my rule books and read them. I might sit on the couch and read them. I like that a lot better than I do an iPad, to be honest. But to get this into a small packaging and put as many cards as possible, there's just a little website you go to and the rules are there. What's also good about that website is there are videos there that you can watch and play the game. And I feel like that's wonderful. There were a couple times where I just didn't feel like reading the rules, and I wanted to see how it played out first, and I go back and read the rules. It gives me a reference. Then I go back and watch the playthrough if I have any questions or want to clarify things. So I found this to be a pretty good system with it. I think the rules are pretty clear. This isn't an overly complicated game. If you play these type of games before, I think that you'll fit right in. The character creation is where you're going to have some uniqueness and newness. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to pick out a core, which is what character you're going to be. Each one just has a +1 to a certain ability. There's females and there's male. So you just pick somebody out. You can do it randomly or you guys can choose. Then you're going to go to phase 1, which is character creation. You're going to be looking at just the map cards, M-A-P. And you're going to take 4 of these, any decks that you want. You just can't take the S's yet. And you're going to look at these and you're going to be able to play these cards. So the easiest thing for me to do is if it says combat, it's an attack or a block, you're going to go face down your combat deck to be used in phase 2. Now, if it's a weapon, this is a mastery, you can play it down in front of you. Within certain boundaries, you can have like a mastery, a weapon, and an armor, one of each in front of you depending on how much space they take up. But the masteries, you're only going to have 1. Everybody will do that. Then you'll draw 4 more cards from any of the 3 decks.
and then you will play these. So here's a weapon that will go down face down in front of me. If I already had a weapon in front of me and I would rather have this one, I would discard that one and keep this one. Oh, so I have 2 weapons. Then I would have to choose which one that I want based on what they do and what they say. So I'll take the green one, discard that, and I have 2 combats. Fair enough. Now, because I didn't want this card, I can actually discard this card to draw from the S deck. So you can also draw cards, and I would put that in my stack. So you would draw from these. In order to get the S cards, you have to discard. So you will do that until one of these 3 decks is empty, or the S deck. If one of these decks are empty, then you go on to number 2, which is combat. Now, combat's fairly simple. You're going to be drawing 4 cards from your deck, from the top of it. Let me just shuffle these up because I didn't go through all of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you will play a card, and you will either attack or block. People will play cards to attack or block you back. So, this is the magic attack. If successful and you have more magic attack stats than your target, you immediately execute a half magic attack to the same target. So you can kind of do twice. So you're going to read these and do this, and somebody could, let's say the other player had this, block AP attack. But that's not going to help me against a magic attack, right? So you'll be playing cards, you'll be blocking them. Now, this game does not come with ways to track, at least currently it doesn't come with ways to track your damage. So you need coins or chips to do that. Not a big deal. You'll be utilizing your weapons, you'll be utilizing your cards, and then you'll just kind of beat somebody to death, right? That's what you're doing here. You're just fighting them back and forth. So that's characters. That's an overview of kind of how it works. It's a card fighting system where you're actually drafting and picking your cards about how you want to build up your character, which is really, really cool. And then you fight it out with the other person and see who not only built the better deck, but who can actually make the decisions to win better.
Well, I think this game is going to be built for a couple people who want to sit down and have a fighting game. Maybe you're a fan of Street Fighter or the Mortal Kombat series or whatever else is out there. I have no idea. If you like those 2-player card battle games, I think this one is really neat. Somebody who's looking for something a little bit different in this little package. You know, you've got a lot of 2-player fighting games. What else you got? Well, I got character creation. You can actually create unique characters every time you fight. I think it'd be pretty rare that you would end up with the same exact character on multiple occasions. There's just too many varieties and things that you'll want to try out and options that you have. So I think this one gives you something new, and I think that if you're into those type of games, this is one definitely that you should back, that one that you should check out. I think you'd be very happy with it. It does come in a small package, so it's very travel friendly. And I think that the 2-player fighting system where you don't have to go out and buy the collectible card games, you get everything you need in these couple little boxes, and you're off to the races, you're having a lot of fun, and you're playing, and you still have that uniqueness with the character creation. Every time you play, something different is going to happen.